Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. We have our regularly scheduled Bible study here, and the topic today is spiritual welfare too. They're still shackled, and the value of good counsel. Um, for this lesson, we'll be going back into the story of Moses in the book of Exodus to show how Israelites are still insane by making the same destructive decisions but expecting different results. So we'll be studying Exodus chapter 17, verses 1 through 7, and chapter 18, 17 through 27 to show how this still relates to niggas today. I'll give everyone time to turn there, but before I do, once they hit that like button on the way in, salute, shalom, Lawrence. Thank you for coming out today. I don't expect anything different on that end. And give everyone time to kind of get there. But all right. Let's get started then. And I'll be reading from the Amplified version too. So, verse 1. Then all the congregation of the children of Israel moved on from the wilderness of sin by stages, according to the commandment of the Lord, and camped at Rephidim. But there was no water for the people to drink. Therefore, the people quarreled with Moses and said, "Give us water so we may have something to drink." And Moses said to them, "Why do you quarrel with me? Why do you tempt the Lord and try his patience?" But the people were thirsty for water, and the people murmured against Moses and said, "Why did you bring us from Egypt to kill us and our children and out and our livestock with thirst?" I want to stop here for a moment to point out something. Um, he brought up a point here about why did you bring us from Egypt to kill us and our children, our livestock with thirst. If you remember when I covered it before, he had gave them ample warning on what was to come, but they had not been prepared for whenever they entered into the first stage of sin because they did not prepare as accordingly as they should have. They didn't pack food and water and drink that they would need for the first stage. So they had problems there. And it's all because, as a simple fact is shown, that they would rather go back to Egypt, even though they did not have freedom, they did not have much of anything. But it was handed to them what they did have. They did have what little they had, it was handed to them. And so they were willing to be slaves for a little instead of having their freedom and control over a lot. So continuing on. So Moses cried out to the Lord for help, saying, "What shall I do with this people? They are ready to stone me." Did the Lord say to Moses, "Pass before the people and take with you some of the elders of Israel, and take in your hand the staff with which you struck the Nile, and go. Behold, I will stand before you there on the rock at Horeb. There you shall strike the rock, and water will come out of it, so that the people may have something to drink." And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. He named the place where this miracle occurred Massah, meaning test, and Meribah, meaning contention, because of the quarreling of the sons of Israel, and because they tested the patience of the Lord, saying, "Is the Lord among us or not?" So you see that everything that has been done for them so far for their benefit, for them to grow, for them to challenge themselves, and for them to do for themselves, is still they still have no appreciation for it whatsoever, because they're just lazy and they expect things to be done for them. Moving on to Exodus chapter 18, be starting with verse 17 and finishing on verse 27. So starting here with 17. Moses' father-in-law said to him, "The thing that you are doing is not good. You will certainly wear out both yourself and these people who are with you, because the task is too heavy for you to bear. You cannot do it alone. Now listen to me. And pause here again and say, now here, instead of God speaking directly to Moses, he used Jethro, which is Moses' father-in-law. Jethro's willingness to speak to Moses and Moses' willingness to listen beautifully reflects the spiritual and emotional maturity of both men and the value of such a relationship, which is why I had also in the title, The Value of Good Counsel. I will advise you, and may God be with you to confirm my advice. You shall represent the people before God. You shall bring their disputes and causes to him. You shall teach them the decrees and laws. Pause here for a moment. See, now he's advising them to teach the people the decrees and the laws so they can actually uphold them themselves. What good is it? What good is it for them to keep coming all the time when they have no willingness to learn the decrees and the laws to do better for themselves? You shall show them the way they are to live and the work they are to do. Furthermore, you shall select from all the people competent men who reverently fear God. And here, this reverently fear, all the thing it means is they respect the decrees and the ways of God, the ways that he wants them to live, that order. That's what they reverently, they respect it. Men of truth, those who hate dishonest gain. You shall place these over the people as leaders of thousands, of hundreds, of fifties, and of tens. See, here we always hear MOT talking about the track record of people. And here it states the track record. Furthermore, you should select from all the people competent men who reverently fear God, men of truth, those who hate dishonest gain. And you shall place these people as leaders. So his father-in-law is already telling him to pick the appropriate people who respect the laws and code of God that men are supposed to uphold, and put them in charge. 22. They shall judge the people at all times. Have them bring every major dispute to you, but let them judge every minor dispute themselves. So it will be easier for you, and they will bear the burden with you. If you will do this thing, and God so commands you, then you will be able to endure the responsibility, and all these people will go back to their tents in peace. So basically what he's telling Moses here is that them bringing every little nickel and dime thing to him, it's bringing stress on him. It's worrying him. It's affecting his health. It's affecting him mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, to be able to do what he needs to be focused on and be doing. So take some men who are the ideal and epitome of what the laws that we're supposed to uphold and command and do. Take these guys and make them leaders and allow them to be over the people over minor things. And then the major things that you're needed to do, then you get involved. And that will help you, and it will also help everyone else. So 24. So Moses listened to his father-in-law and did everything he had said. Moses chose able men from all Israel and made them heads over the people, leaders of thousands, of hundreds, of fifties, and of tens, from the highest to the lowest judicial levels, and they judged the people at all times. They will bring the difficult cases to Moses, but every minor dispute they judged and decided themselves. Then Moses said goodbye to his father-in-law, and Jethro went back to his own land in Midian. That concludes it. What's going on, Rocky N? What's going on? Thank y'all for coming out. But that right there was very it's very important. It shows how people of today, especially the people we know and we're talking about, they have so much in common with these Israelites. The insanity of wanting, expecting different results, but the willingness to not actually put forth the work to make them happen, to not change your mind so you can actually make them happen. But praying and begging for God to give them this and give them that. And the thing that they don't realize is that they're praying, they're asking God for this, they're asking Him for that. The truth is, He's not going to give you anything you want, but He's going to give you everything you need for you to get yourself in that position. But you have to change your mindset so you can actually put forth the work to achieve. Um, and you know, that's as simple as I can make it. And doing that, changing that mindset, that way you can actually apply, like Zero says, the correct formula only needs to be applied one time. You don't have to keep going over and over again. So when you change your mindset to that correct stance, that correct state that it should be, to where you can actually perform the work to get yourself where you need to be, you only need to apply that one time. You don't have to keep going back over. But that's going to conclude the introduction. I'll be starting up here in a few minutes, the barbershop talk. That way we can open up the panel and have a discussion on this. I want to thank those for coming out. Don't forget to hit that like button when you view this. Also, I want to say thanks. I had some subscribers here the past weekend and boosted me all the way up to 204. So thank you all for that. Um, Glad y'all like and value the information that's being brought here. And I just hope that every one of you all can decide for yourselves to take it and apply it to your everyday lives and make them better. But that's all I got.